A very good evening and welcome to Youthpad. My name is Francis Ngala. Ijumaa nyingine teule popote ulipo. Karibu katika kipindi ambacho kinaangazia mambo ambayo yanakutatiza wewe. Tunababadua na kuyaweka wazi zaidi. Hii leo tunababadua swala moja nyeti sana ambalo si wengi wangependa kuliangazia, lakini hapa tutaliangazia. Na mtazamaji, hawara kwa lugha ya Kimombo, concubine, alikuwepo tangu zamani. Huyu ni mwanamke ambaye anasemekana kujipeana kwa mwanaume ili aweze kupata faida labda za kifedha au kuweza kuboresha maisha yake. Hapa Kenya inasemekana kwamba hawa watu wapo, lakini majina yamebadilika. Ikiwa mwanamke akifadhili mwingine ataitwa sugar mommy, akiwa mwanaume pia akifadhili mwingine ataitwa sugar daddy. Siku hizi hapa nchini Kenya wanaitwa masponsor. Na ndio maana hii leo tunajadili hilo. Je, ni kwa nini hapa Kenya ile hali katika vyuo vikuu wasichana na wavulana wanataka kuwa na wafadhili kisha baadaye wanawapatia mapenzi, ufadhili wa kifedha, biashara? Kwa nini yanaongezeka? Zungumza nasi kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii @KAKTV Kenya Twitter, KAKTV Facebook. Na studio nipo nao walengwa wakuu wanaofahamiana vyema na hili swala. Nitawapa nafasi ya kujitambulisha. Labda tuanze na wewe.
Yes, hello. Majina yangu naitwa James Mwangi aka Jimmy, na mimi hufanya na kuanga Nairobi City Center na deal na IT, both hardware and software. So ukija pale town utanipata. Na nimefurahi kualikwa mahali hapa siku ya leo.
Tukija town utakupata.
Utanipata.
Town ni kubwa.
Habari zenu, kwa majina naitwa Sharon Wanjiru Ngugi. I am a digital and marketing consultant. I have a company that deals with photography, videography, branding and merchandising. I also do content creation on the side on my YouTube channel @Sharon Ngugi and for my social media pages. So that's basically who I am.
Oh, yes. An intro. Labda tukianza the issue of sponsorship is getting a lot of traction in the social media. The sponsorship phenomenon, sponsors phenomenon has been getting a lot of traction in the social media and also to the campus students. Do you have a sponsor maybe?
No, not really.
You have a sponsor, guys.
No.
You don't have a sponsor. So who is a sponsor? Labda tuanze na wewe.
Okay, now to depend on how you define it. For instance, anything that does do with sponsorship, you know, somebody who would like to take some advantage. Maybe somebody is naive. Nah, maybe there are many ways that a sponsor can chip in. One way, maybe somebody somewhere needs something in future. Maybe anahitaji kufanya kitu ambayo anataka kufadhiliwa kufanya. Na saa zingine watu wengine hawana uwezo. So pale ndio sponsor anaingilia. Kuna yule sponsor anaweza kuja atake advantage yako. Anataka kusaidia, yes, lakini unapata kuna kitu zaidi ambacho anahitaji. So according to me, sponsor ni mtu inaweza kuwa kwa njia ya uzuri ama kwa njia nyingine anataka kutake advantage of you. Yeah, depending na situation yako.
Okay, let's see from the lady side.
I think for me, sponsors are basically, as it said, it's basically someone who's at a bigger rank in life over you, and they feel like they have more advantage over you or more power over you. So you give something. I think basically human beings, we live in a society whereby it's a symbiote, it's a mutual relationship. When kupa nipe nikupe, unaelewa? Kwa hivyo sponsor in this case ni mtu mwenye ana take advantage of you in the sense that anaona ni kama uko na shida na nikikuja kwa maisha yako nitakusaidia hivi na hivi, kwa hivyo hata wewe lazima you give back. Like I cannot help you for free. There's nothing for free in this world we live in. So sponsors are basically people who will take advantage of the less fortunate people or people who are struggling to make it in life. They get, for example, certain favors from you and they facilitate your lifestyle. Maybe you're living a lifestyle that's more expensive than you can afford. So they tell you they'll facilitate that. In return, you give them something. Yeah.
Umesema we live in a symbiotic world. Unasaidiwa, then you give back. What if this sponsor just wants your time and nothing more?
I think, to be honest, especially coming from a woman's side, I can only speak for the women in this case. I think I believe that men are usually investors. When a man invests something in you, it's like when he takes money to a sacco or to a bank, he cannot expect it to make a loss. Or I believe even if it's that time, you will pay back somehow. Hakuna mwanaume atakupatia tu vitu hivyo kwa sababu ako na roho nzuri. Lazima ikuwe kuna, hata kama si saizi, anaona in the future there's a way in which this girl will help me get something. So I don't think anyone would just be kind enough to just help you and help you and help you if they don't want anything in return. Even for women, I think basically human beings, we are selfish. If you help someone, that's why you're told, if you want to know someone's true character, it's in helping the people who cannot give you back anything. So, saizi nikikusaidia join rafiki yangu, najua siku moja hata mimi nitakuwa kwa shida na bado wewe pia utanisaidia.
That's true.
Yes.
Jimmy, haya mambo ya sponsor ilianzaje? Why would young people go for sponsors?
Sasa unapata watu wako na mahitaji tofauti. And it depends. Kunalingana pia vile you are brought up. Wazazi wako. You know, when you are a child, you are looking up to somebody. Na maybe wazazi wako kunalingana pile vile wamekulea, ile society tumekuwa. So kutokana na hayo mambo ambayo unaona wengine wakifanya wewe katika utoto wako, unapata that mindset ya kuwa nikifika mahali fulani nitahitaji usaidizi. Na maybe hiyo peer pressure wale watu unatembea nao. So uweze kuwa ati unatembea na watu ambao hawana hulka njema, udhani ati pia utakuwa hivyo, utaja kuwafuata. Yeah.
Ni nini ambacho kinafanya vijana wanaendea masponsor? Ni kutamani maisha ya juu ama nini? Sababu kuu ni gani?
I think saizi social media imenoga kabisa. Everyone wants to live a lifestyle that's beyond their means. Like, I want to drive a big car and I don't even have a job. I've just finished campus. I want to, live a very flashy life. So if you cannot afford to live a certain life, you will find ways in which that they can facilitate you to live that life that you want to live. And that's why I think social media can be used either positively or negatively. If you compare yourself with people, you'll want to be like them. Unaona mtu anashinda akienda 5-star hotels, ana travel around the world, anafanya nini, unafikiria pia wewe unaweza kuwa hivyo kwa sababu ni age mate wako. But I think the reason why people are joining this problem of sponsors is because you're trying to live beyond your means. Like you make 50,000 shillings, but your expenses are at 200,000. There's no way you can meet that difference unless now you go for certain weird ways of making it. So I think for me that's one. And then also the social media pressure. You see people, everyone has a sponsor, so even you're like, hata mimi sinaweza ingia kwa hiyo mwenendo niendelee kufanya kama hao venye wanafanya. So I think the social media pressure and also living beyond your means. Yeah.
It's actually pushing young people to sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah. Bro, do you have friends who maybe have sponsors? Have you interacted with anyone who has sponsors?
Okay.
Maybe a lady ama jamaa. Unajua pia siku hizi bana jamaa pia wanafuatiliwa.
Yeah, ni kweli. So some time back, maybe I think last week, I actually met a lady who happened to be working in a certain institution of media, and then she was telling me her story. And she was telling me she was in social media, just as she said, hapo zamani, some of these things, now we are living in an open society. Open kwa sababu kuna mambo mengi ambayo unaweza yaona online, social media ambayo hayakuwa. So yeye alikuwa ananiambia they met in social media. Na sasa unajua naye pia, sasa hii ni mambo inakupata mahali ambapo hauna uwezo. Na hapa kuna mtu amekuja na uwezo, anakuambia anaweza badili maisha yako. So they give you that false hope. And then you find, now that we live in a world where you have to be hopeful in everything. So sasa through that hope, unajipata umeingia kizimbani. Yeah.
Umeita kizimbani. Maana hiyo ni nzuri ama. On that note, ndio kuhusu vile akona mabeshte yake last week alimwambia vile ameingia kizimbani vile ameita. Je, watu, there's a notion that we have that the sponsor, the sponsees that is, they have more than one sponsor. How is that true?
I think it's true, and I think everyone's story is different. It depends on you. I think one thing is when you start certain lifestyles, it's very hard for you to come back. You see, there's an old saying that says bad habits die hard. When you start living a certain lifestyle, or when you start doing certain having certain behaviors, it's very hard for you to come back. So if I have a sponsor today and I feel like they're giving me this kind of lifestyle, unajua ukienda kuchovya asali hautatosheka hadi umemaliza.
Inakuanga ni tamu.
Ni tamu kabisa. Ukishachovya kidogo lazima utamaliza kibuyu kizima. Kwa hivyo naona if you have one sponsor and you feel like they give you a certain lifestyle, you'll ask yourself, if I get another one, I'll even get more. So why not get another one and try and hide this one, so you make sure these people will never find out that they are both your sponsors, because sponsors are very possessive. If they hear that you have someone else who's also footing your bills, they will not be happy about that. So there are people who actually have even multiple sponsors because they want to live a lifestyle that they cannot afford. And if you, as I said, ukishachova hiyo asali utataka kujua hapo chini kuna nini imebakia. So utaenda kwa mwingine mwenye anakupeleka Paris au anakupeleka Dubai, ndio upate, you know, ni kama fisi anataka kwenda both ways na hawezi. Naelewa. So utataka tu kupata mtu mwingine ndio akuonesha a different side of life that you had never seen before. So you'll find you have one this year, next year you want to have two, next year but one you want to have three, because bad habits always die hard. Yeah.
I also hear we have different types of sponsors. We have a total sponsor, huyu ni mwenye maybe atakupeleka Marekani, Singapore, and also the others mwenye maybe atakupeleka tu hapa Nairobi, hapo Westland. There are those different types of sponsors. Bro, je, kuna uwezekano kwamba kuna sponsor ambaye anaweza kufadhili mambo, maybe footing your bills and also education, but kusikue na uhusiano wote pale? Kuna uwezekano?
Very, very possible. As I said, there are still good people in our society. Iko mtu akona hiyo roho ya kutaka kusaidia without strings attached. So wako kuna watu wazuri wako. Kuna mtu anataka kuona umeishi maisha ya kujitegemea.
So wewe kuna maybe sugar mommy anaweza kuja akakufadhili mambo yako na ukakuwa tu fit.
Sasa wajua pia kuna lingana na character ya mtu. Your character speaks a lot. Na the challenge that we are facing as young people ni kwamba hakuna opportunities. Na huyu sponsor anakuja kukupea opportunities in life, because hakuna mtu hataki kuishi maisha mazuri. Hakuna mtu young hataki kujitegemea. Lakini sasa there are those good sponsors. There is that good side. Lakini sasa kuna wengine wanataka tu wanaangalia your situation. They just want to take a total advantage. Kwa sababu unajua kipya kigeni kingali kidonda. So wewe italingana vile utatunza kidonda chako.
Yeah. Wait, Sharon, just the other day my co-liver was trending, and I saw someone tweeting that nowadays it's so easy to get a sponsor than to get a job. How is that true?
I think as we had said, in the society we're living in right now, as you have said, actually opportunities are very slim. People are, I always say that they're very brilliant minds in this Kenya we're living in, but they never get to see the limelight because they don't have connections, they don't have the opportunities that we've all had in life. So I think in our society, there are people who are wolves, who are always ready to pounce on people who are less fortunate. So for example, they see you have a bright future and they think that you're brilliant or you're beautiful or you're all that. So it's easier for them to tell you they'll help you in this way than to give you a job, because they know, if they give you a job, you will not need them anymore.
Sure.
It's a way, I think even Jesus was saying that he'd rather teach you how to fish than give you the fish. Because if he teaches you how to fish, you'll be able to fend for yourself in life. But in the society we're living in, people want to have an advantage over people. So I cannot tell, for example, a sponsor will not tell you, I'll give you a job and from the job you can be able to fend for yourself. They'll tell you, come, I'll give you money, I'll take you to Dubai, I'll take you to Paris, I'll take you to Singapore, because they know after you come back from Singapore, you'll still go and you're asking for, it's like a handout, you'll keep asking for more because they've not given you a way in which you can fish. So it's a sad reality, but I think in Kenya, or basically in the world we're living in, people can easily get sponsors as opposed to getting jobs. Yeah.
Boy child, unaweza poa kazi tu.
But there is that inner person in you. That anytime unafanya kitu ambayo haipendezi, inakuongelesha. Inakwambia Mr. X, whatever you've done is wrong. So hata ukipewa hiyo kazi, kutakuwa na kitu hautakuwa umepata hiyo kazi kihalali. Kwa sababu somebody has just taken advantage of you. So inakuanga vyema, it's a challenge, especially now that you're in Kenya. Zile news zingine unazisikia, you just feel frustrated. Lakini there is always hope. Na ile iko, unajua, for a butterfly to become a butterfly, there are stages. Lazima ikuwe caterpillar. So that stage ya kuwa caterpillar, most people don't want to pass through that stage. Especially young men. Mtu tu anataka everything to be pap. Nobody want to follow baby steps. Hakuna mtoto aliyezaliwa akikula chakula. Unaanza na maziwa. Then before you come to hard food. Yeah.
So do young people feel threatened by sponsors?
Now, it will depend. Kwa sababu in terms of relationships, unapata there are people who are sponsors na bado wako na familia. Wengine they are in a serious relationship. So it's a threat to young men. Kwa sababu sasa kama unataka kuwa butterfly, ukiwa hiyo stage ya caterpillar, nobody want to be with you, especially men. We are facing challenges.
That's true, that's true. Sharon, you're laughing. It's like concur with me.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I understand the struggle of the boy child. In a society we're living in, men who have, I think I even saw a meme the other day, it's people who are comparing, like there's one broke person and there's one who's very old but is a billionaire. So a lady was being asked to choose, and it's something that someone has to think about it. You know, before it was something obvious, like you're young, so you'll definitely go for the younger person. But in the age we're living in right now, it's actually something that you think about. It's not, it doesn't come automatically. So I'm laughing because I know the struggle of the boy child, and in a society where the boy has to compete with someone who has millions in the bank, someone who has more experience, someone who has more exposure, it's not a fair bet. It's not a sure bet, to be honest. Yeah, that's why I was laughing when he said that.
You told me that you have friends who have sponsors, right? I know you share a lot with them. Ni changamoto zipi ambazo wanapitia maybe wanapokuwa katika hali ya maisha kukuwa sponsored?
You know, of course,
just from your knowledge.
Okay, maybe, you know, their choices will be affected. Kwa sababu, you know, this is something that will come and affect your decision making. Kuna decisions zingine utamake na maybe hukuwa na nia ku make such decisions. Unapata sasa huyo ana influence everything in your life. The adage says that he who feeds you controls you. So anakuwa na total control over your life. Hautakuwa sasa, kama ukitaka kwenda anywhere lazima uombe ruhusa. Sasa unaona utakuwa umefungwa kiakili na utakuwa umefungwa kwa mambo mengi sana. Yeah.
Why are you concurring with him?
No, for me actually I'm thinking another challenge is that you become very small-minded. You do not think past that sponsor. You see, when you're a young person, you have ambitions, you have a vision, you want to, you know, the way you write down your goals and you really want to achieve so many things in your life. But when a sponsor comes into your life, it's like they show you another side of life that you did not know existed. So it can really close up your mind to a point whereby you don't even think about the future, you don't think about life after this sponsor. Because yes, even a sponsor can die. You know, it's not about that you just break up. Someone can die, and then what happens to your life after that? If you're used to getting everything that you ask for without even working hard for it, in case this sponsor is removed from your life, how will you go past that situation? So I think for me, it's really a matter of closing your mind and
People
making you
need to
see.
ask themselves about that.
Yeah, it makes you feel like there's no life besides this sponsor. So that's my greatest challenge, to be honest. Yeah.
So we've talked about a lot of sponsorship. So where does does this all end? Where does it all end? Because it seems like it does not end. What are the risks that are involved in it?
I think, to be honest, I always say that there's hope for everyone. I really believe that it's not cast on stone. Like, you can go to a sponsor and you realize your mistakes and you decide, you know what, fine, I was there, but that's not going to be my testimony always. You can decide to work for yourself, because I believe every single person has so much potential in them. There are many risks involved, because there are even diseases, there are self-esteem issues, there are issues with not being able to, you know, fend for yourself and being independent. But I think there's hope for everyone. I believe that God is a God of second chances. You have been there, that's not your story, you can write a different story. That's the thing. I always say that every single day is a chance to write a different story, because you're the author of your own life. So you write your book and you write how you want people to always remember you. Yeah.
We talked about disease, but don't you know that nowadays young people are afraid of getting pregnant more than contracting HIV?
Yeah, that's true. And it's so sad, because I mean, like, it just shows us how we've become so small-minded in this life, because people are scared of pregnancy, and pregnancy will last 9 months, and then after that nobody will know. It will be you and your child, but a disease will follow you for the rest of your life. So I think we've become a generation of the microwave generation. Like, we want to put food in the microwave, within 10-30 seconds the food is already hot. And that's not how life is. If you ask the millionaires or the billionaires of other generations, they'll tell you everything takes time. Every good thing takes time. So we need to stop that mentality of wanting things happening fast, because that's what pushes us to getting these sponsors that we're talking about today. Yeah.
Bro, how can we curb this sponsorship menace among young people?
Okay.
Kwa wanaume pia na kwa wanawake.
Okay, one thing you have to know, there is two different things. There is a process and an event. Life is a process. The challenging thing is that most young people don't want to follow the due process. And there are so many challenges in the society. Na unajua sasa, now that we are in an open society, kuna mambo mingi ambayo unaona. Some people really want to change, lakini the situations yenye wako nazo inakuwa so much challenging. So what I can say,
what are these situations that we're talking about?
What I'm saying is, one thing.
Umesema kuhusu situations, so this means that
okay,
situations zenye wanafanya waingie. You're talking how can we curb this? So
of course ni monetary situation. Kwa sababu some of these people are so desperate with life. Na hakuna, they don't have somewhere to lie on. Hakuna mtu ambaye anaweza tegemea. So maybe something somewhere is failing. Maybe our society is failing because every generation has its own challenges. And now that our previous generation, they had their own challenges and some of them made it. So we as the young people, of course the society, the church has a role to play. I mean, the church needs to expound and speak about this thing because these are some of the things that we think our young people don't know. Na unapata wanajua hata kuwaliko. We speak about it, we sensitize, na sijui kama itakuja ikuwe kama human rights. Yani mpaka kwa human rights. Kwa sababu it's really affecting.
So is the church doing little about this?
It's doing very little. Yeah, and of course our political class. Some people, we need to, because, you know why I'm saying about political class? There is this idea that some people believe that the only thing that young men can do is to sweep streets. That's unfair. Because we have that potential. So unless they tap that potential in us, of course as a nation, to remain a third world.
And provide opportunities. See,
yeah,
kupata sponsor kuliko kupata jobs.
They should provide opportunities. Yeah.
True.
First of all, I'd like to add something. It's not just about monetary issues. I think the thing about sponsors is also, it goes way back to people who have daddy issues. People who've not been raised with a dad, for example, tend to find a father figure in anyone and everyone. So you'll find someone, a lady is probably even having a job and they're doing well in life, but they feel as if there's that part of them that's missing out on, you know, that fatherly love and fatherly figure, having a father figure. So ways in which we can curb this is, one, being taught, a society, we have the education system teaching children that, you know what, you can be anything you want to be in life. I think our system has a mistake, and I feel that's why I usually like the British system and the American system, because they teach kids to fend for themselves and to be independent at a very young age. But in our system, it's very different. It's more of competition. It's more of, you know what, you have to be number one. They don't teach the people that, you know, life is not all about being number one. There's so much more to life than your education. So there's more of, they teach you life skills, how to survive outside in the real world. Because if you do not learn life skills, you leave school and then you start from zero. Like, you don't know how to survive, you don't know how to live with people, you don't know how to, you don't have the wisdom to separate between good situations and bad situations. So there's the education system. I really urge teachers and the government to, and I really like what they've started doing with the new curriculum. You know, they're teaching kids to be able to be independent at a very young age. And I think that's going to sort the situation of sponsors years to come. So there's the education system, and there's also believing in yourself as a human being. Yes, opportunities are not as much as we would want them to be, but I think the Bible says time and chance happen to all. Like, everyone will have their own time. It may not be right now, but do your part. Like, work hard. If it's that school you're in, ensure you get good grades. If it's a business you have, like both of us are in business, work hard, because I believe at the end of the day, your light will come. There's always a silver lining in every single dark cloud that anyone is going through. So yes, you might feel like your situation is hard and life is hard and you're feeling desperate at that particular moment. But I think God is a God of seasons. Like, this season you're doing badly, but the next season something will open up and life will never be the same again for you. So there's that. And then also sensitizing people, like what we're doing right now, speaking about it, being open to it. And I think the church needs to be very intentional about this, speaking to the youth about relationships, about these vices that are going on in our society. Let's not be shy about them, because the thing is, most of our churches are very shy to speak about these situations, like these problems that are happening in the society. The more we speak about them, the more people are educated, and the more brand awareness is created for these issues that we have. So I think the first step to healing in anything is just acceptance. Like we've accepted there's this problem in the society and we need to do something about it. Yes.
That's how we can curb this spread.
Yes.
You as a young person who have friends who have sponsors, who are sponsors to sponsors, and who are watching you right now, what advice would you want to give them? Maybe they are undergoing all that pressure and also their friends are having that easy life. What do you want to tell them?
Okay, just as Sharon has said, there is always a second chance in life. Saul was changed to Paul. There was that part of Saul, there was that part of Paul. So there is always hope. And where there is a way, where there is a will, there is a way. So you must have that willing. You must be willing to change and accept that it really happened. So what next? There is that will. Decide and do something.
Lakini maboichali wanakuaga vigumu sana kubadilika.
Okay, for me, maybe I can give an example for me. Okay,
we're talking now to the sponsors to sponsors, sugar mummies now.
Okay, unajua there is a way you don't have to speak by word. Unaweza tumia actions. Maybe for example, we are going to meet up somewhere, then ujipe shughuli. So through that utaanza to speak something to her or him. So wewe unajitafutia tu shughuli. You just start up something. Kama for example, unaweza anza kufanya a certain program kwa sababu nature hai accept any vacuum. So the moment you create that vacuum, you wanna chip in. But if you have something that will keep you busy, utapata sasa your time, utampea time yako, and then at the end of the day utapata tu amejitoa. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what advice would you give to the young ladies out there who are sponsors to sponsors? What would you want to tell them, and who are watching you, and also to the sponsors too? What would you want to them, even as we wind up this conversation?
First of all, I'd like to tell you that every time you do something in life, it's because probably life has pushed you to doing that. But I think something that I live by as a person is, let's learn not to react to life, but to respond to it. Regardless of the situations you're going through, regardless of the difficulties you have in life, you have a choice to make. And I think the thing that people forget when they're young is that every single choice you make has a consequence. I'd like to speak to you who's watching this today and to just tell you that whatever choice you've decided to make in your life, years from now, it will have a consequence. So you need to ask yourself right now, what consequences are you willing to live by in case that choice, when that choice brings those consequences to your life. And also I just want to tell you that you can be anything and everything that you set your mind to be. Do not limit yourself to that world of having just a sponsor to be able to facilitate your life. You can be anything. If you put your mind to it and if you have God on your side, you can be anything and everything you want to be in this life. So think past that and just believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, I said there's a silver lining behind every dark cloud.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jimmy and Sharon, for coming and having that broad conversation as far as a sponsors phenomenon is concerned. I really appreciate for your time.
Thank you for inviting us.
And of course, it's a broad topic that actually our leaders and parents need to come together and have that conversation with us young people out here. Well, thank you so much for watching. That's where we wrap up this conversation, a conversation that needs not to be judgmental, actually. And remember, you can send us your feedback through our social media handles at CACTV_Kenya and Facebook CACTV. My name is Francis Ngala. See you next Friday.